Been approved. Next item is our public hearing. Item A, public hearing on proposal to enter into a sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement. And resolution number 1, resolution taking additional action on the proposal to enter into a sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Council, please vote. Resolution is approved. Next to the approval of the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Council, please vote. Agenda approved. Next item is mayor's appointments for Planning and Zoning Commission. The 3 individuals are Ron Farrington, who is a reappointment, Christine Heinz, and Michael Falker.
Move to approve.
Wait, Steve,
I want to make a motion that we approve the reappointment and we deny the other new members on that. And I'll explain why after we get a second of whatever we're doing.
I'll second it.
second to do what Steve said.
Yeah.
Okay,
The reason being for that is reappointment. I think that's, no big deal. During this last week and concern that I've heard from the public on the process, which we don't have much of a process for these mayor's appointments, is that there should be some sort of, I guess, standards established for, qualifications for boards. Things like planning and zoning, it's complicated stuff. You should have people that have experience in real estate or other areas related to that. And I'm not saying one way or the other, these people nominated here have or don't have those things, but I don't think the council has much information on that. I didn't know anything about any of these until it showed up on the agenda. I don't know some of the people. And with the concern expressed by the public about who we are approving to be appointed to these boards, I think there needs to be a formal process where people can apply. And I know people applied for these particular positions and they were not considered. They didn't even get an email back saying you weren't considered. So I think that process needs to be looked at. I think we need to evaluate whether there are conflicts of interest, any other things that could make people unsuitable for these positions. And there's some other reasons that I think we probably need to look at what's going on here. But that's my thinking. So I'm not necessarily saying we deny everything for this, but I think we should postpone it at least until there is some sort of process established where the public and the council can be assured that we are putting good people on these boards, people that are good stewards of the city. They're there for the right reasons, and we'll protect the city's interests as members of these city boards.
I did want to make a note quickly, just to your comment, planning and zoning.
if you look at the city's code, that is actually a council appointment, not a mayor appointment.
Okay,
The other three that are on for consideration this evening are mayor appointments. And so I've communicated with both Aaron and Karen and Jordan that for the future, we need to separate those out because there are certain boards that are council appointed and then there's certain boards that are mayor appointed.
did not know.
Aaron, in recent history, has that ever?
Nope, nope, it is not.
Luke, let's start down at you. Any,
I guess if we're wanting, Steve, if you want to reassess this, the system. The system has always been, to my understanding, that the mayor gives us these names, and I learned today that planning and zoning is a council appointee and not a mayor appointee. But we've always just voted with whoever the mayor is appointed. So why are we changing the system now? And if we want
There's
to change
never
the
been
system,
concern expressed to me
Steve,
before about the
Luke
appointments.
was speaking first. Let's let him finish his point.
I thought he was asking me a question. Sorry, Ryan.
well, and this is a question for you. If we're doing it because you want to change the system, why don't we just not include all three of them? Why are we? Why do you want to approve one and not the other two if you want to change the system?
We can include all three of them if you like, but reappointments, I think that ship has sailed. I think what I'm saying from this point forward, let's create a better process that ensures the citizens that we are selecting the right people for these positions. Because
If
I had
I'm-
a lot of concern today that the right people were not selected.
Yeah, to Steve's point, and Luke, to answer your question, I guess a little bit too, since I seconded and, I don't think I've ever had someone reach out with concern about an appointee before, so. Not to say that maybe the process couldn't have been better, but I think because there has been concern, it may be worthwhile. We do have somebody on our council who's very good at processes. Not to name names, but yeah, so I mean, that's, I guess, to throw out my 2 cents there.
Henry,
Yeah, I guess, I did have several people reach out today in regards to some concern. I do fall into the camp of we haven't had, I guess, there hasn't been structure up until this point, and I guess that's something where maybe we should have had better structure if that's what we were looking for. But today I went through, looked at the application process, went through that kind of the same, I guess, discovery that planning and zoning is council appointed versus mayor appointed. I mean, if it's something that we would look at, creating more of a process, I think that have to be across the board. I mean, with the reappointments too.
I would agree.
I think other points of concern were brought up too in regards to our commissions and more attendance based. And absences on those committees. That was something I've had a few people who are on committees reach out and share some concern on that with attendance. So I think there are areas where we could vastly improve our committees a little more and improve them and bolster them a bit. But I guess right now, the way it is set up, I mean, it's the process is the process. The process is the way it is right now. I mean, in regards to those who have applied right now, but I wouldn't be opposed to re-looking at the process and, the applications. I know like Leadership Nevada was brought up as something as individuals going through, but that's not a requirement on our form right now. So, I mean, and it's an amazing program and I encourage people to do it. I mean, I'll learn more about this community in that program, but I don't think adding that now to these individuals, I guess a little bit, that's where I'm at is just the process was the way it was and these individuals volunteered, but I think there are bigger issues with our committees that we should look at along with this, if we do look at doing a little more with the application process.
Sandy,
Well, I was going to make a motion that we postpone based on a lot of the comments that have already been made because our process is really broken. We didn't see any other applications. If it's a council decision, we have to know who applied before we can decide. And I think that community-minded comes ahead of leadership skill building. I think Leadership Nevada is a wonderful program and should be a qualifier, but not in any kind of leadership development. To me, just substantiating that you've had some leadership development experience and some sort of class or professional experience. I think, I don't even know if these folks actually applied for this commission. Isn't it just a pool of applicants and then
You rank choice.
so again, I personally need to be more informed. I mean, I've seen I've been on library board, and for that I had to interview. So the process is broken down somewhere along the way. Like it wasn't just a given that the mayor appointed people. Like I had to interview with the mayor before that kind of selection happened. I think we've just been through this big experience with planning and zoning, so it's fresh in the community's mind, and we've demonstrated. Sometimes we don't even know anything about the people, but this has been really a community issue in front of everybody. So it's why the phone's been ringing, I think, is people are paying more attention and we've got to tighten it up.
Jason?
I have no issues with any of the appointments. I think having some different views on a planning and zoning commission consisting of 7 people, having 2 different views, possibly 2 different views, is not a bad thing. I don't think they can do anything that's gonna harm the city. I think if they did certain things, I think the head of the planning and zoning commission would make sure that maybe they didn't come back anymore. But I don't see any reason why we deny this. We've always approved every appointment without hesitation. Now all of a sudden it's a big deal. And I'm pretty disappointed in that.
I think the only question's ever been, sorry, go ahead.
So I'm gonna say one last thing before I open this up for discussion. The names that I picked, Sandy, I did speak to. I didn't pick names out of the hat. I actually spoke to them. I'm with Jason, who I like to have different points of view. Michael put together, even if you didn't agree with his point of view, Michael put together some very impressive things in regards to the last project. I know that that's where a lot of this stems from. Regular people, and forgive me, was unaware that it was council appointments either, because I was told to go ahead and do mayoral appointments and this was included. So it wouldn't even come to that point. But so far as I know, right now, leadership in Avita is not a requirement. Is that correct, Aaron?
It's not a requirement, no.
Okay. So far as I know, I was on planning and zoning, and my wife will attest this. I'm not the quickest runner in the race. I'm certainly not involved in real estate. But I was appointed by Brett Barker. I did well, I would think. I didn't burn the city down. And I wasn't a real estate agent or anybody involved in the industry. So for us to sit here and say, well, you have to be part of a paid organization and have somebody sponsor you to go through this, and only after that point will the council consider putting you on.
I don't believe we're
because of
saying
the
that, Ryan.
service.
don't
Oh,
believe
I thought
that was a
that's
statement.
what I interpreted.
I said some people suggested that was a good qualification to have, but
I
that is not,
disagree.
that is not at all what I'm trying to say.
So I disagree vehemently that normal citizens should not be included.
I want to know why other people emailed you to apply for this position and they were never considered. They were not even communicated. with.
They were considered. I didn't touch base with every single person. This is who I chose.
I
So, I mean, that's,
struggle with that decision.
so I'm gonna open it up to any public comment. Andy?
Andy Kelly, 1322 Fourth. Is there any public comment opposing it, or is it all private conversations? Any public? I mean, if not, I'll publicly support the 2 candidates you've got, and keep in mind, Christine Heinz is a direct competitor of a pool of 2. I've got no reason to support her, but she's educated, she's a business person. Has a business and a building. Donates downtown, been attending the meetings, so that's support. She's involved. When I was on council, they wanted to strive for gender balance. She fits that. I think she'd be a good choice. Can't quite figure out. Don't know Mike all that well, but no objections. And I know, Steve, you're saying you don't want to make it a requirement, but we had a couple other people that speak in favor of it. 100% don't feel leadership in Nevada should be a qualification. The members are sponsored by businesses, correct?
I believe that's the case.
By paying businesses. I mean, I don't think it should be a pay to play, that anybody qualified puts their hat in the ring.
I just want to clarify, I don't think anyone up here said it has to be a requirement.
No, but you said that you thought it should be considered. I think Sandy did.
I said any kind of leadership development experience, and I threw in
And
leadership.
yeah,
advantages.
and that's fine. I disagree with using that as an example because it's for business sponsors. I think it should be qualified applicants. I mean, if you want to address that, that's fine.
Well,
I'm not saying it's a
not
blanket
sure.
statement that you guys are wanting to make a requirement. I disagree that it should be a consideration.
Okay.
Yeah, it never has been. You've got a board made up of a bunch of members that haven't been through it. It would be something we're talking about making a consideration tonight. I think you have two applicants that I can't find any objection to either one of them, thinking that either would be working in the cross interests of the city. And that's what I think you're kind of looking at. Do you have any objections to the candidates? I don't, neither one of them. And that's with consideration that Christine is, that would be nobody that I'd have any other reason to give support to. Direct competitor, as she's qualified and she put in for it. I think it sets, I may think, a bad example that we let the mayor pick who they want. It's an equally bad example to say, we want people to volunteer, but when you do, and you're recommended, we don't want you because you haven't done what we wanted you to. I think you've got two applicants. I support them.
Thank you, Andy. Anybody else?
Can I just add something? This isn't to me about the two, I guess, candidates who are here. And I know one of them more than the other, and I think the world ever. It isn't so much about the two who were chosen as it is the ones who applied that we don't know or know nothing about if this is supposed to be the council's appointment. That gives me pause. And maybe these are the two that would get picked anyway. I don't know, because I don't know who else applied. I don't have that information.
Yeah, we didn't even know that until tonight.
Right, yeah.
None of us knew that until tonight, so
Combines like 20 years of experience here.
going from this point forward, yes, we will follow that and we will know who applied, but this has always been the way we've done it. Let's do it this time, and then going forward, we need to change it. And if Sandy wants to step in and help
And on
create
these,
more, that's fine. I just think we've always struggled to even fill these positions, so.
on these two candidates, can I put Mr. Hutton on the spot and ask what his opinion is of the two that are in question, or the three, I guess, all three?
So Ron has been on for quite some time. I'll get up and go to the mic, I apologize. Good evening, council. Ron has been on for quite some time. I know Christine from kids about the same age, as well as being around town as a business owner, owning various properties. I met Michael a handful of times after council meetings and had the opportunity to speak with him. I think highly of him. I think he's very smart. I think he's very articulate. I don't disagree that there's a lot of things that can be changed about bringing people into said groups and stuff like that, whether it's a library board or anything, but the interactions that I've had with every one of my board members have been in a positive way. And I don't feel that, reappointing Ron or bringing in Christine or bringing in Michael will negate any of that. In my opinion, when Michael spoke in front of you guys to oppose one of the items that are going on, he did it in articulate and an incredible job. It was one of the best presentations I've seen brought to any council meeting. And the fact that the way he was able to carry himself, be respectful, and be open-minded to those ideas. He did oppose this one, but I don't feel like that shows to his personality as being negative or down towards the city. The same thing with Christine. She can be very, very vocal But one of the people that we did bring on when Ryan was appointed was Carla, and she's very quiet, but she has been a stealth while doing the planning and zoning. She's brought up a ton of great points. She doesn't own a business, hasn't done any of that, but she's worked diligently to improve our planning and zoning. So if that's something that you guys would like to change in the future, I respect that and I can understand that, but changing it this go around, I don't feel like is the appropriate time. I feel pretty confident with the candidates that were chosen. So I'll gladly answer any questions.
Could you do business with 5 members of the board until the process is redone?
So yes, that would give me a quorum, but we come back to filling seats, right? I have a board of people who have other jobs, and it's not easy for them to leave jobs to come to our meetings, especially if we do have a special meeting that comes up, right, where we get a 2 weeks notice. So theoretically, yes, I could, but I run the risk of ruining my timelines with mailings and postings and things like that. It's nice to have 7 just as a backup.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
Hi, Lacey Johnson at 905 C Avenue. I don't have a lot to say about the planning and zoning. My old boss, Paul Manevsky, I believe, is on that board. So I know a little bit about it, but not a whole lot. But more so speaking regarding being appointed to the Parks and Rec Board. I have been working for the last 2 years with Rhonda and a lot of the other, Jordan and a lot of other staff regarding the desire for a dog park. And I've met with quite a few community members who have all had interest in that. And so I took it upon myself to do a lot of research. I met with a lot of different other city officials from local areas who have dog parks. And so I reached out to the Parks and Rec Board and have been primarily working with Rhonda over the last couple of years. And I remember one of the first things when I sat down with everybody was nobody else in the city has ever asked to have a meeting with the city regarding this. People love to complain on the internet, but nobody has actually done their homework and looked stuff up. So I can confidently say I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn. And if, taking a class with, like a leadership team, I do have a lot of background in that with administration. But I think the application process from me personally was pretty straightforward. And I provided, my resume if needed. I had a meeting with Ryan and he got to interview with me. So I think the process is pretty thorough as it is, aside from the planning and zoning. But I think I agree with a lot of comments that having some diversity of people who don't have as much, I guess, qualifications and, resume experience is a good thing, and giving some kind of outside of the box thinking from the training perspective that we would get from a certification. So guess
Thanks,
that's
Lacey.
my kind of 2 cents.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Echoing back a little bit to one of Jason's comments, but volunteering for one's community and getting out there and putting your name out there, I mean, that's a big thing. And having pride and wanting to be a part of things and have an impact on your community, that's something I think everyone in this community wants, is everyone to feel comfortable and where they want to play a role in these boards and play a role in their community and their home. I really feel that we had a process up until this point. These individuals followed that process. They filled it out. But I do want to echo off of what Steve said. We did have a lot of people reach out wanting more info. And I think that's something that sounds like a lot of us are, maybe there's some additional questions moving forward that we should look at so that we better know these individuals, because maybe there is another committee or another commission that they would be amazing on. And maybe there's an opportunity to look at our applications moving forward on, the info or how we're connecting people with ways they can get involved. And I think that would be great. But I think we've had a process up until this point, and these individuals followed it and they supplied the information and they put forth that and stepped forward to do that. So I really think, I guess for myself, I don't have issue doing it on this appointment, but I do think we should look at our process and if there are ways that we can get further information or maybe improve our application and look at that process and how that goes through. But I guess that's where I'm standing right now.
Good evening, Scott Henry, here with Nevada Dev this evening. And so as a developer that's gone through the P and Z process here, more times actually than I wanted to for my project, but I wanted to share. I sent an email expressing reservations, not with individual names. And I wanted to make that clear just because I know I emailed all the council members. And Henry, I think your point is 100% right. We want citizens to volunteer, be part of the community, serve on boards. And part of the reason these boards exist is to give the community the voice in those decisions. And so my email was more around just the reservation that whether it's points of conflicts of interest or just personal bias, I want to make sure that the board members themselves are taking some sort of attesting to the fact that they're going to look at things objectively and take that responsibility seriously on these boards. Because being a developer going through the process, it's not easy, it's not short, it's not cheap. And so I just want to make sure that if we're trying to do projects in the community, that we're getting a fair shake on those boards. I'm not saying that anybody on that list, Ron, Christine, or Michael, wouldn't do that or implying that at all. I just think that that needs to be a point of consideration when you're evaluating the different candidates for the projects, as well as holding firm to the, I'm assuming you have to sign some sort of, commitment to being objective and evaluating things. Because if you just put business people or developers on your planning and zoning board, you're gonna have conflicts, right? There will always be an opportunity for that. And so I didn't want any of my comments in my emails to be misconstrued by any of you as being directed at one of these individuals, more just at making sure that we're communicating clearly the responsibility that everybody takes in this, because nothing against the other three boards that we're appointing people here for, but when you look at the planning and zoning and the amount of dollars that citizens or people in our community are investing into projects that can be impacted by that, to me, there's just a higher level of care and consideration that needs to go into that. So that's all. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Well, I'll reiterate, I think I agree with Henry for the most part. Changing anything now, when we see names that we may not prefer or agree with, is kind of akin to taking your ball and going home when the score doesn't go your way. That's not a great analogy, but I think kind of fits. We've had a system that all of us have been a part of for the entire time that all of us have been here, that I think has been the system that we've had for as long as, anybody. I mean, Andy's probably been to more meetings than anybody. I think it's the same system we've had. The mayor reviews all the applications. The mayor makes a recommendation in the case of planning and zoning that I think we all thought was an appointment, but as a recommendation that we voted on, it came to the same result. So it's been a system that we've all approved of up until now. So if we want to go the way of changing the system, I support that, but I think changing rules now is kind of not fair play. On the two people that we're talking about mainly, I think diversity of opinion, I think Jason said the same thing. I think Ryan said the same thing. Diversity of opinion, diversity of perspective is very important. I've seen quite a bit over the years where we kind of try to fill the room full of people who agree, and I don't think that's a great way of managing anything. Certainly not in my line of work, and I don't think really in anybody else's if we want to succeed. I used to tell Mayor Barker all the time, and I think I've said to Ryan, I'll say to anybody who listens, if everybody in the room agrees, we either have the wrong people in the room or we aren't talking about anything important. So we should have a culture that embraces different opinions and wants people to be able to speak out when they disagree without retribution or feeling that they might not be invited to the next meeting. So bringing different opinions in, I think, is important. And I think we're doing that here. And for one issue, this is a 5-year term. So You know, they may disagree on this one, on the one issue with the old hospital that we're talking about, but they might agree on something else down the road in the next 5 years, so.
I don't want to speak for Steve or Sandy, but none of the three of us have said anything about disagreeing on an issue. Just want to point that out. None of us has said that.
Right. Okay.
Those are words being put in our mouth, so I just want to clarify that.
I'm gonna have the final say of this before we do the vote. Just a couple quick things. I didn't bring materials on the other candidates because it's never been done. I've been here for other appointments and Mayor Barker never said I'm appointing this person, but here's are the three other people I didn't pick. So I didn't come prepared and I didn't know it was a council decision until I plucked it in here. But second, if that's the case, we'll certainly do that. I mean, I'll present, these are the people that applied. I picked this person. I didn't pick these other three people because of X, Y, Z and have the council examine why. That's not the process we have. I'm sorry, Scott, to your point, you don't want all developers, you know, real estate agents because conflict of interest, right? That's my point, Steve. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it was fine that I was on planning and zoning. I've never touched a real estate manual. I've never seen a plot map. I've learned. And after this last thing with the hospital, I wrapped that up with if people were angry and they wanted to see change, you apply. You get into the game, you volunteer, you apply for these commissions.
Revenge is not a
I'm not
reason
saying-
to be on a board.
Granted,
That's
But-
what's in people's mouth. They didn't say they're here for revenge.
they said they wanted
That's,
to.
I gotta stick up for them. That's crap. They didn't say they were here for revenge.
And-
In both of them, I spoke to their integrity. I stand by.
Andy,
I don't believe it's for revenge.
Andy, I'll finish. No one said they were here for revenge.
I think we can question.
Steve, let me finish. I spoke with these people. I didn't select.
But I haven't, Ryan,
And
and you
until
don't communicate any of that. Where's the
Right.
transparency?
Until tonight, I didn't even know that you guys
Where's
were
the
involved.
transparency?
So far as I understood, I didn't have to involve any of you.
You are going to appoint two of the most controversial people to this board that you could possibly choose, and you expect us to just accept it. Is that what you're saying?
Mike is controversial
Yes.
because he disagreed with you on
He's
one
been
issue.
derogatory toward the city. He was angry when he was here. He may be a great guy. I don't know him. He
He lied on camera on
social media,
TV.
the city is clown.
All right, I'm
Come on.
I'm calling to order. We'll call the vote now. Council vote.
What are we voting on?
Yeah, what's the motion?
The motion was to approve the reappointment and not the other two. Correct?
Correct.
Then we can bring it back up again if it doesn't pass
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. Motion fails. You can make a new motion.
So
Oh, right. I don't-
does that need to be a voice vote?
Yeah, that doesn't work, does it?
If we're voting specifically on approving
Approving
the
Ron.
appointment and not the other two,
Yeah.
that's not,
We can't do
I
that.
think what we have on the machine is to approve everybody across the board.
I have Steve's motion to approve the reappointment and deny the other two appointments. That's the motion I have on the board with the second. Somebody could amend the motion.
But do we vote with that on, is that a voice vote?
It's still closed for me. Maybe I gotta refresh. Give me one sec. I'm refreshing.
There's still confusion.
Hmm?
There's still confusion.
Mine still says closed.
Refresh your page. That's what I had to do.
There. Yes, I sent it.
You refresh it?
3-3.
3-3.
I voted, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not
She's
showing up.
looked low and she refreshed it and it's showing kids coming.
So, we have a tie, 3-3. I don't believe I get a vote in this particular one, correct?
Well, there's a nuance here, just so the council knows. The mayor with a 6 council form of government can vote on council only appointments, but as you proceeded that this is a mayor appointed position, I would take the position that you do not have a tie-breaking vote. So,
Oh, okay, so it looks like, I believe as a result fails. So does Ron get reappointed?
no, the entire motion fails.
Okay,
Whole thing's done.
so,
But a new motion can be made.
Correct.
all right,
Still gonna get the same vote.
I make a motion that we approve all appointments A through D.
Second.
No, I'm sorry, we're going planning and zoning, I
We
think,
have to do each individual.
well, we have votes for all
Okay.
different ones.
All right, then I'll move to approve Ron Farrington, Christine Heinz, and Michael Folter. Planning and zoning.
second.
Second.
We've had discussion. Council, please vote.
It'll have to be a voice vote.
Okay, so Luke?
Luke Spence,
Aye.
Henry Corbin,
Aye.
Dane Nielsen,
Nay.
Jason Sampson,
Aye.
Steve Skaggs,
Nay.
Sandy Eric.
Nay.
Same spot.
Same spot. Tied again. So,
Any other motion?
Can we provide guidance for staff or a council member or somebody to work on that process so that we can move forward in a timely manner so that these boards do get filled, or well, in this case, this particular board?
I can reach out to other communities to see it, what type of process they have. My 2 cents is I think it needs to be council direction on the procedures and the process rather than staff, but I will be guided or directed to do whatever you guys would like me to do.
Sandy?
Well, I was gonna make a motion that we just table this to our next and come back with a process. And I'm not negative about the people either. We just haven't had the community enter into this. So that's the big holdup for me. I feel like we owe that. Get our own act together. Obviously, we did not have that tonight because of misunderstandings of who's appointing and how the whole thing was gonna happen. So I'd be all about bring it back to our next meeting.
and just to reiterate, it was a misunderstanding stretching the span of 20-25 years.
I would offer for the council, the positions that you as the council appoint are the city administrator, the city clerk, the city attorney, planning and zoning, and board of adjustment. So you do have some procedures in place for how you've appointed those positions, if that's helpful to look back on some of the guidance. And I know you've got spreadsheets and matrix to weigh candidates, and so that might be a place to start.
Right, so as it stands now, that's failed, only 3 vacancies on that board. Moving on to the next.
Did you want to make a
I think I
motion?
made a motion.
Oh, well,
I made a
oh,
long
the table,
motion.
I'm sorry, yeah,
Table.
sorry, we didn't have that.
No, sorry, you have a motion.
I'll second it.
Can I discuss? Is having P and Z at 4 members gonna hinder them from doing any timely work? Or could we make a motion to reappoint 1 and not the other 2 separately?
Tried that.
You've already had that motion and it failed.
Oh,
That wasn't a
you're talking-
clean motion,
I
though.
mean, 2 out of 3, not.
The motion was to approve 1 and not the other 2. The motion wasn't to just approve the 1.
Oh, okay. You could do that. You could make that motion if you wanted. There's already a motion and second on the table.
Right, yeah, but I'm just, for the sake of discussion with this particular motion.
Well, I'll withdraw mine. Let's go with Dane's.
So many motions.
Steve, you withdraw your
Really
second.
going through the motions. I would move that we approve Ron Farrington's reappointment for the sake, like I said, of P and Z being able to conduct business.
And
Second,
just Ron,
For the time being, yeah.
well, we already tried that and it failed.
It wasn't a clean motion for one person. There were three people involved with the motion.
It was denial of the other two, and this is not denial, it's just tabling those for the next meeting.
Gotcha.
So we have a motion and a second. Let's do the voice vote for this one.
Have we discussed that?
Sure.
If the system is what we don't like, then Ron should go through the same system as everybody else, I think.
Should we?
Ron's a great guy. He's been in the community for a long time. He's my next door neighbor.
Should we kick the other four off until we have a process too?
Well, Ron's not on it right now, though. To revote him back on.
I guess I defer to the people who don't like the system. If the system doesn't work and we need to change the system.
I said earlier, Luke, I didn't have any trouble with the reappointment. That ship has sailed. I was saying from this point forward, we should have a better process.
Any other discussion? All right, let's do voice vote.
Luke Spence,
Hey,
Henry Corbin,
Nay.
Dane Nielsen,
Aye.
Jason Sampson,
Nay,
Steve Skaggs,
Aye.
Sandy Eric,
aye.
Motion fails. So Sandy, I think your next was table, correct?
Yes.
We have a motion to table. Do we have a second?
Second it.
if it's a new system we want, can we have that new system in place and have names here for us to vote on in 2 weeks? Go through the interview process or the review or whatever the system's gonna be.
I think so. I think I've heard enough discussion. I can put some guidelines together and help make that happen.
Do we
Come
need
back
to-
with the applicants that are on file.
Do we need to approve the process before we approve the people who come as a result of the process?
You can
Is
do
that
both.
bullshit?
You can do both things.
What's that?
We'll
I-
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So if we table these names, we'll be able to go through the whole, figure out the process. Have the applicants go through the process. And have 3 names here in 2 weeks. Is that the plan with tabling?
Cause as I
That would be my suggestion,
as I
to keep
understand
it
it,
moving. I mean, we have certainly interest in supporting our staff too, with the personnel to do the work. of the
I'm okay
committee.
with that. That's a short timeline to get a lot of steps done.
and as I understand, I think everybody wanted to interview all of the applicants as well. So we would want to do that as city council or individually.
I did not hear that. I would think having the application, like having an application that has the information that we've discussed tonight. Having that available to every council person before and on the one that's specific to us, to our decision. I think to me, the application should be the same, but the mayoral recommendations carry on as in the past, but I think we're cleaning up our role as council members.
So motion to table, do we have a second?
Jason was a second.
Voice vote?
What?
Oh, sorry, is it you?
Me.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know if he said it too or not.
So if we table it to the next meeting, what if we don't do that? And what if we don't table it, we just move on from this? What happens then?
We don't have enough people to go through planning and zoning.
most likely.
If your council rules, if recollection serves, if it fails, you have to wait another year before you bring it back. And so if we are tabling it, you're taking action so that you can talk about it at the next meeting. So I think it would be a benefit for you guys to
Okay.
table. it
I'm
to a
just
date
not
certain.
sure if we can find a system that we all agree on, go through the system and get names in 2 weeks, but if we table it again in 2 weeks, if that doesn't happen, is that?
I think it's also, yeah, absolutely. And I also think it's gonna appear as 2 different action items. I think you're gonna be approving a process. And then I think you're gonna be appointing the members to this board. And so it's possible that you are approving a process, and if you're, there needs to be some more work done on that, then you're gonna table that to the second action item to the next meeting, or have a special meeting to try to get people in places.
To me, it's being responsible to the community in this case where we've had people questioning us about what we're doing, so we need to fix it.
Any other discussion? Let's call vote.
So just to be clear, can I, what the motion is
Table it to the next meeting.
without a process, just table?
Correct,
Planning and zoning specifically.
correct.
Yes.
Well, I think, yes, planning and zoning only.
For tonight.
Luke Spence,
Aye.
Henry Corbin,
Aye.
Jane Nielsen.
Aye.
Jason Sampson,
Aye.
Steve Skaggs.
Aye.
Sandy Eric.
Aye.
Just so the people in the audience know, we still go out and have a beer after this. We don't dislike each other.
That's not true. It's knife fights all night long. All right, moving on to the next one. I think probably will be less controversial, but I need to make sure, is this an appointment I can make?
This is a mayor appointment.
I just want to be clear.
The three remaining are mayor appointments.
All right. So the next one will be for Lacey Johnson. She's gonna be my appointment for the Parks and Rec Board.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? She's an amazing person. I'm glad I got to meet her. Thank you for everything that you've done. So, council, please vote. Happy to report, Lacey, you've been appointed. We will not table yours tonight.
Thank you, Cal.
Okay. Next, is mayor appointment. Again, can I do this one?
Yes, you may.
Appointment will be Joshua Pichelle, who is not with us tonight, and Derek Grote. I'm not sure if he's here tonight. I don't know Derek very well. I know Josh pretty well. I work with his wife and with the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. I'm anxious to see how they do on the library board.
Derek is very active with the library community in general. Yes.
Move to approve?
Second. Any other discussion? Council, please vote. Joshua and Derek are going to be joining our library board. Item 9 is a reappointment, and that will be John Augustus.
Move to approve.
Second. Any discussion from Mr. Augustus? All right, council, please vote.
Just now we're going to the public forum.
All right. Oh. Yeah. All right, John Augustus has been reappointed to the Historic Preservation Commission. Now we are moving on to the public forum. It's a mere 7:55. So
6:55.
6:55. Oh, you're not scared. This is time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those on the agenda. No action may be taken. I had a card for Wade Presley from Nevada Community Band. Survey.
Good evening, council. I'll keep my comments as brief as I can. I am here as a representative and as one of the two co-directors of the Nevada Community Band. We just wrapped up our 6th concert season here last Tuesday with our community jazz band. And so primarily, I want to thank the city of Nevada and the council for the various levels of support that we get from the city, as well as share a few things about the community band itself, just so for some general information about how this is benefiting our community. Nevada Community Band started as in 1999 as a Leadership Nevada initiative with some members of the Leadership Nevada at that time. And we've been meeting every year, except for the pandemic year, since then. This year, our band included the total number of volunteer musicians numbered at least 56. And then the average size of the band each week was about 45 members out of that 56. And the way our community band works is that you can come 1 week, you can come the whole 6 weeks, and that allows people to come and join our community and volunteer as their schedules allow. And so that number does fluctuate, but that's a very high average number out of that 56 that we had throughout the season. Every week I recognize our financial partners. So I just would like the council to be aware of these folks that financially are partnering with us to make this happen. Flower Bed, Hawkett Lawn Care, Wertzy Construction, Jennifer Kelly Remax Concepts, Parkview Pharmacy, and the Skelton family. Some other items here that I'll try to just make my comments as brief as necessary. We have band members ranging from middle school age all the way up through members that are in their 70s. I'm not going to pin down an exact age because I can't verify that, but we have a wide range of ages. We have collaborative partners as well as the financial partners that I mentioned. And the city of Nevada is a big one of those collaborative partners by providing chairs that are hidden in various nooks around the city council area. The city space right here, you probably have seen some of our items stored throughout the summer, and that's extremely convenient. That's kind of a behind the scenes thing that is very convenient. And we also appreciate the performance space that we have right out here. It's very convenient. As well as collaborative partners with the Nevada Community Schools, the rehearsal space, the use of music stands for that 6 weeks concert, and also the use of the Josephine Tope Community Auditorium. And this year we set that up ahead of time in case of weather problems, rain primarily, in case we needed to move. And we did use it for that reason once. And then we played in there a second time, but we had pre-planned to have the Independence Day concert in there. So we just didn't even have to worry about what the weather has been in the past, for example, last year. And so we appreciate that collaboration. And some unique things that we have local musicians that perform at our intermission. And so that's just another volunteer group. They will like to share their talents with the community. And that includes people from the community, such as Dennis Henderson, the JDS Trio. There's a high school rock band by the name of the Combo that played. Gives them a venue to try some of their original songs, and others that we have every single week to share additional talents with the community. And then finally, a very unique part of our community band, and they're all over Iowa. If you're not aware of that process, it's not just cities the size of Nevada, larger and smaller, larger bands and smaller bands. It's really a popular thing in the summer. But I think a unique thing that we have is we've been doing the last few years called the Futures Concert, and that is to support Nevada high school alumni that are pursuing a music education degree from a college, and give them the opportunity to test out the waters a little bit by conducting and rehearsing a piece on a concert. And I help them choose the piece and get through it, but they're up in front of the band and it gives them some good real world experience. And so we're pretty proud of having 3 that we had this year that are in that category. And one of them has been doing this for a while and has gladly accepted a job north of here and is moving on to that. So thank you so much for your cooperation. Our community band season is very appreciative of having all the support from the city as the places I mentioned, and we hope to continue that for our next season in 2026. And if you have any questions, I can take them right now, or you can email me. It's out there in cyberspace. You can probably find it.
I appreciate that you did the Star Wars one of the last concerts. Good job.
I appreciate Star Wars, and in the future, I have heard a request that we should also include Star Trek.
You may know who that person is. but-
Man, I don't know who that.
No, I don't know.
Are they the
There was
same?
even, yeah.
And I just want to say
You
thank you.
shut your mouth.
Thank you for your leadership on this.
Couldn't resist.
My pleasure.
As any community group, it takes somebody to like step up and take the lead on it. So thank you.
And I do want to reiterate, there are two directors. And we share the duties, the current high school band director by the name of Drew Barker, and no relation to the other Drew Barker, who is related to Marlis, but he does a fabulous job and we work together to make this work throughout the season. So.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
It's
Right, thank
great,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have the survey results of our side biz project.
So you all have a copy of the SciBiz survey up there in front of you. So we partnered with NEDC and Iowa State University's SciBiz Lab. It's a student-run organization. You can hire them to come solve a problem for you. So our problem was, how do we get people outside of Nevada to learn about Nevada? And they put a survey out for us, and because they're students, a lot of them went to students. So we had almost 1,300 responses, and 85% of those were students. Where they said they were from was Ames and other surrounding areas. There were even some from other states. And there was lots of things that came up through these results, but the three things they thought we should focus on most were enhancing events. 33% said that that events are what draw them to town. They like live music and they like food trucks. So I think we're hitting the nail on the head with a few of our things, but that's something that would bring them to town. They also suggested getting a student intern or ambassador, getting people to talk about us. They said 64% said how they find out about something is through word of mouth. So I know we've encouraged people at Main Street, our board, to be talking up things in Nevada as much as you can and tagging businesses in your social media and that kind of thing. So we would encourage that, more of that as well. Huh? Positive things, yes. And then the last thing is a welcoming environment, placemaking things, refreshing storefronts, focusing on art and flowers. I think we're doing great with this this part. You know, we have an public arts commission now, so they'll be helping with a lot of things, refreshing storefronts. We've got several grant projects that have been done. We have the CDBG facade coming. The Feltners just painted their building. It's gorgeous. So I think there's a lot of good things happening there. And thank you also to the city streets department, whoever helped put up all the wayfinding signs. So we've had a lot of great compliments about those. We still have a little bit more to come on getting people to our downtown, but we're working on it. So 58% of the survey respondents said that they have never visited Nevada. I believe there was even one of the things was never even heard of Nevada, and that number was huge and kind of shocking, considering we're only like 8 miles away from Ames. And then 18% said that they've only visited once. One of their barriers to visiting is transportation. And I know last week, for those of us that were in the room talking about the 2040 plan, we talked about trying to get the bike trail from Nevada to Ames. So I think that's something that would definitely be worthwhile to keep out in front of us. Things that they come to Nevada for are restaurants, our Main Street, and visiting the Story County admin. And then also not on your sheet, lots of them said they've only been here to pick up friends from jail. So so we have some work to do and things to try to get visitors from that side of the area over here, but all easy, low-hanging fruit things. And so any questions
Sheriff
about it?
McDonald's does pretty well off that Sunday morning. turn.
Yeah.
We did put wayfinding signs at the Story County admin, so you can find a donut shop or whatever downtown.
Any questions?
Thank you. Any other comments that don't have a card? Rhonda?
Good evening, everyone. Here for a specific purpose. So I kind of want to take this opportunity to publicly thank Tim Hansen for his 45 years of service in Parks and Recreation and 32 of those here in Nevada. Tim has been a consistent and loyal employee for the city of Nevada and will be deeply missed. His vision and leadership have allowed Nevada Parks and Recreation to grow considerably over his tenure and has given the citizens of Nevada the ability to enjoy indoor and outdoor recreation and leisure for generations to come. I hope my eyes don't water during this.
We can tell it's heartfelt.
Yep. On a personal note, Tim and I have spent the last 25 years working together side by side. We've witnessed each other's successes and failures, but most importantly, we have supported each other in every facet of life. And I have to say, most notably, our sons growing into the fine human beings and young men that they are today. This is going to be a tough week for both of us. Tim, thank you for being my mentor. My eyes are leaking. My confidant, my friend. We made an excellent team. And I believe our community is better for it because we challenged each other and supported each other equally. Congratulations, man, on your retirement. And for a job very well done.
Thanks, Tim. I'll never forget the words that you said to me when I first met you. Leave me alone, I'm retiring soon. I've held those close to my heart.
Guess I don't recall that. Please flip out.
Thank you, Ron. It's greatly appreciated. She's right, it's gonna be a hard week, but, thank you to everybody that's, through support to this community, to our department and to the staff. So there's good people in place here. And I just hope the community continues to throw all their support to the staff and not just in the Park and Rec department, but every department that we have. There's good people here. So, thank you.
Thanks. Are there any other comments before I close the public forum? Public forum is now closed. Moving on to resolution number 2, a resolution declaring intent to provide economic development support to development project at 1114 6th Street, Camelot Theater. Do I have a motion?
You guys have information, but I'm here if you have any questions.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, council please vote. Resolution passes. Moving on to item 12. There's actually a change on this. The pay request is for wastewater treatment improvements. The number listed is $303,074.08. The actual amount is $204,929.90.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, council please vote. Approved. Moving on to item 13, it's approved pay request. Number 38. Phase 3 from Boomerang.
Move to approve.
Second. Any discussion?
I was waiting for you to say more.
Okay. Council, please vote. There's an order here. It's on mistaken.
What happens if we vote down
The
a
zero.
resolution for $0?
Either way, it's the same. It's fine.
No, that's a good one.
Your name is gonna come back and get you.
Approved. Moving on to item 14, approved pay request number 1 for West Indian Creek project from RW Excavating in the amount of $225,622.72.
Move to approve.
Second,
Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Approved. Moving on to item 15, resolution number 3, resolution accepting public improvements in Northview Phase 1 subdivision.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Council, please vote. Approved. Moving on to item 16, resolution number 4, resolution authorizing payment of initial disbursement request from Nevada Development LLC.
Move to approve.
second,
Any discussion? Council, please vote. Okay, resolution is approved. Item number 17, resolution number 5, resolution accepting an easement to construct and maintain a recreational trail between the city of Nevada, Iowa, and Nevada Development LLC.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Council, please vote. It's approved. Item number 18, Kim Upton, tree claim. To consider ICAP's decision, he's supposed to be bringing a letter to request council to reconsider ICAP's decision along with the invoices for the cost to repair.
Well, I'm here to tell my story. I'm a property owner at 916 H Avenue. 2024, the city happened to be having the streets in this neighborhood replaced. The street was removed, some digging was done, some plumbing had to be done. Well, there was a very large pine tree on my property in the right of way that had a very, very large taproot out under the street. I don't know that this root was a problem. I do know that this root was a problem for the contractors and they deemed it necessary to remove it. I knew nothing about this root removal. Now, spring 25, big windstorm comes through Nevada. I get a call from my tenant. The pine tree is down on the house. I contact the city, Joe Mosel, and we drive to see the problem. Here is the tree laying on the house. Root ball very well exposed for us to see that what had been done to enable this wind to topple this majestic pine tree. I get the tree off of the house, hauled away, stump work done, roof repaired, gutter replaced, all for a very reasonable sum of $2,800. I turned the bill into the city hall figuring it would be taken care of. Of course not. Seems that the city is immune from trees in the right of way. The ICAP insurance has denied my claim twice. Now I am appealing to you, the council, for your consideration to a very special instance because of a very special circumstance, a huge taproot removal. This is in no way my responsibility, but all parties involved are saying that it is Kim Upton, the homeowner's responsibility. I've been told that the city of Nevada's insurance representative will instruct you, council, not to help me at all. It would be favoritism and against the immunity of the city. I had absolutely nothing to do with this whole matter, but now it's on me.
Kim, were there any questions for Kim?
Have you spoken with the contractor who cut the route, or have you spoken with I don't remember who the contractors were that did that project.
Construct. Oh, yes, I've talked to him.
I assume the response was they're not liable either.
Nobody wants to take any liability, and everybody, well, everybody. They've got liability insurance, just like every other contractor, has on any project. But nobody's coming forward to help me. And I think it's a very reasonable to have the tree removed, to have the roof repaired. It could have been a lot worse. The limbs kept it from just smashing the roof. To have the roof repaired and the gutter replaced. $2,800. To me, that is, a very reasonable fix.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? Andy?
I told him not to surrender the podium to you, maybe should I shout from here?
I think we have to have you go up. I'm pretty sure those are the rules. Jordan's yelled at me a lot about it.
Stay near the podium, Cal, you don't want to leave. I've had a similar situation as him. I mean, it's been well documented. I've been doing business with Kim for years. I've been talking to him about this. I've given him some advice. I don't see how it could be viewed as his responsibility. There's nothing he could have done to prevent it. There's three parties that you could look at for responsibility. I don't see how any of it is his. It fell away from the cut. There was no support there. It's not an act of God. It was something that happened from the result of a city project. It shouldn't be on him at all. There could be some discussions about who's responsible, but the discussion shouldn't be that it's his. I do have one question, kind of haven't gone down the same rabbit hole because it was one of the things that caught us on mine. Has Construct been forced to file an incident report? They didn't on mine, so their insurance company was never notified and then never brought into it. Have they been told to file an incident report on this one?
I'll have to check with Melissa, but I don't believe that they have.
They should have, right? And there's a 3-year time limit on that.
They should, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as it happens, we should be holding the contractor's feet to the fire. If we feel it's not the city's, and I don't feel it's Kim's, then at the very least, the contractor needs to have filed an incident report so that there's a chance that it's covered by their insurance. I think the city should be taking some action on this. Kim's done a stellar job. I was working down the street at the school. I knew the tree fell. The next day it was cleaned up, right? No evidence. And while it was down, very clear what had happened. He's not asking for much. I think he's being very fair. It's not vindictive in any way. It's a fair amount. It shouldn't have gotten to this point. It's not his fault. It shouldn't be his responsibility.
The tree's very old. It's very tall. It wasn't hollow at all, so there was no rot damage. It stood for 70, 80 years. All of a sudden, boom, here it's over on my house. And it just, common sense. The root.
Mr. Upton, did your homeowner's insurance cover any of this? Did they deny it as well?
I'll tell you what, I don't want to talk to my homeowner's insurance yet. I don't think it's their fault or their problem. It's not their obligation. You know, that's how I look at it. But I certainly don't feel like it's mine either. I think it has to do with the whatever, we'll say the city that hired Construct and Construct. That's how I look at this whole thing. It's that simple to me.
Any other discussion?
Pardon me?
Sorry, I'm just asking for any other discussion or comment.
I don't recall ICAP saying, but have they told us what they thought was responsible for the tree falling?
No, I don't think they gave us an answer on why it fell. I can reach out to Melissa and ask her. They just declined it. They reviewed all the material and reclined it. I believe there was pictures that were sent in to her and to ICAP, and then they declined it. I believe they spoke to Mr. Upton. They spoke to me. They spoke to Joe. And then they informed us as well as Mr. Upton that the claim was denied.
Was Construct brought in on, I guess, any of these conversations a little bit to, I guess?
No, I believe what they told Mr. Upton was they had government immunity as well. So I'll reach out to our insurance and then I can also send an email out to Corey or give him a call. I'll probably send him an email and then follow up with the phone call.
I was just to see Corey a few days ago and he said, let him know how this goes.
Okay.
So I don't mean that anything will happen by that.
Seems pretty clear that the construction project caused the tree to fall down. I don't know that from the pictures I've seen, and I remember when it happened driving by and seeing how close the tree was to the project, so.
I don't feel qualified to make that judgment, Luke. I don't know that.
Well, and since it's all gone in pictures, I don't know that a 100% determinative decision can be made on that, but we're talking about $2,800 worth of damage and a construction company that we give hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of business to. It seems like maybe we can ask them to help out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My contention is the tree stood as is, big and tall, for 70, 80 years. Now, work was done 6 months later, boom. And I didn't have a thing to do with it. That's my bone of contention.
So is this something we can keep on the agenda for next week and report back how that conversation goes, or?
Yeah, can we table this?
You can table it till the next meeting.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Aaron,
do
I'd
that,
like to
just,
know what
Construct.
position that puts the city in as part of tabling this and looking at it further. I'd like to know, does this set a precedent? So next time it causes $100,000 damage when it falls on someone's house, is the city on the hook for that? I guess I want to know. If we take care of this particular instance, what position does that put us in?
Yeah, so tabling it in and of itself does nothing, right?
Yeah, right.
Just for context.
Yeah.
And I can give you guys, if you want an actual formal legal memo on that, I'm happy to provide that for you guys, but I think if that's to your insurance provider's position, which I completely agree with, you would have to have some kind of analysis for which ones of these claims you're gonna pay for and which ones you're not, and how are you gonna analyze that? Because otherwise you run the risk of saying, well, this one's a smaller amount, right? It's significant to you, but for the city, it's a smaller amount. But then if $100,000 claim comes in, you go against the advice of ICAP counsel and say, we're gonna pay it anyways. You do have an issue with whom you're gonna pay and who you're not. And I think you're gonna have some qualifiers if that's the position you're gonna take.
I still contend that once that tree was down on my house and the root ball was so out there for everybody to see, it was one huge taproot. Right there. use your brain and you say, that's what weakened the whole tree. I'm not asking to be singled out from all the other tree damage that might happen, but this was obvious to me why it happened. Simple, plain.
Well, it sounds like we're gonna look into it further.
Do we need a motion for that? Do we need a motion for that?
Motion to table till the next meeting.
Okay, I would move to table this until the next meeting contingent upon what we can find out with more information.
Second.
No other discussion? Council, please vote.
Thank you. Are we using this to vote then? Yes, we are.
You sure?
All right.
And are we asking that a representative from Construct either be at the meeting or provide a statement of some kind? Is that fair?
I think that's kind of what we were talking about, right? That was my understanding.
Yes.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Does Construct truly have governmental immunity?
I believe one of the insurances that requires to have that.
Alright.
That's one, government if Construct really has government immunity. And one of the insurances that's one of the insurances we require contractors to have. In fact, we were on a conversation today with a company that was so far has been unable to get that. And so they essentially have another week to get that insurance. If not, we'll have to go with the second lowest bidder.
As I understand though, there's an exception for gross negligence and that sort of thing, even with the immunity, isn't there?
There are some exceptions, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so let's see what they say. All right, that's been approved, it's been tabled. Next item, item 19 is discussion and appropriate follow-up and purchase of sign making equipment.
Move to approve.
Second,
Discussion.
Is this gonna save us a lot of money, Joe?
So
I know it's convenience for sure.
it is convenience for us. Sorry, my back hurts today.
Mine too.
Because a lot of so when I submit these orders in, then they have to send a confirmation back, then I send yes.
Right.
It's-
I know
So,
that
yeah.
game, yeah.
And as you all aware that there are plenty of signs in town that need to be replaced. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. Jordan and I have also talked about the PD logos. If we can do that, we can do any kind of graphics, really. So that's what we were looking at.
Okay, my follow-up on that is, who the heck knows how to use these?
We have some ideas. I have some people down in Ankeny that you can reach out to now there times. So it's
Okay.
I have one person that could probably do it. Pretty good computers and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss this. What's the amount that we're talking about for this?
20,000.
which,
And that's
that's a good deal. He's giving us a really good deal.
Any other discussion, questions? Council, please. What's that?
There might be a guy named Joe over there that knows something.
Any other discussion? Please vote. Approved. Moving on to item 20.
Speaking of new signs,
Yeah. Ordinance number 1069, ordinance amending chapter 69 parking regulations of the city code.
Steve, thank you for your information. I believe Aaron did load that.
She
Okay.
confirmed that. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
By adding language pertaining to parking zones, all night parking, truck and boat parking, first reading. Chief?
Where do you want to start? So There's really three ordinances. The first one's the no parking zones. This has been a discussion going on since at least last summer. I think August, we first discussed it at council. There's areas of town that we've had either difficulty or impassable areas with fire trucks and ambulances. Kind of based off of events. In this case, the areas that we're pretty much talking about are in the vicinity of the high school. During the day, students, not a big deal. Sporting events at night, anybody who lives south of the high school would speak about the limited passage you could make through. That's with a car. Fire trucks, ambulances are much wider. Ray and I were just on a medical the other day, and granted, you have 12 inches from the curb out, but with the parking, I could almost touch both sides, which wingspan's about 6 feet. So there's some restrictions. That in mind, I first tried to evaluate where any parking restrictions were initially, so I wasn't creating a swap from left to right or whatnot. And then second was looking at hydrant placement. Obviously, we want to have access to a fire hydrant, so that was the next consideration. And then on the 18th Street place, it was not requiring people to park on the opposite side of the road from where their house was. So that's why there's a switch with that. So what I've updated, the first 3 pages in the list are all of our current no parking areas. But we added 85 through 94. Or let me rephrase that, 86 through 94. 85 had already been added. So, and that is primarily focusing around the high school. That would allow access for EMS, fire, regardless of the sporting event or regardless of the time. So that's been added. In addition to that, number 78, with the location of NCRC, and that's a school bus pickup drop-off site. The bus drivers have expressed a lot of struggle with being able to get around and make that turn. So we added that from K Avenue from 7th to 9th to now 7th to 11th, keeping it on the same side. So that's the modification to the no parking zones, which is the first of the 3 ordinances that we're affecting. Any questions on that one at all? Yes, sir.
Yes, can you explain a little bit more in detail the streets you're really talking about?
Yes, so line items on the code are line items 86 through 94, but it's 14th Street between H and J, 14th Street Place between F and 15th Street, 15th Street from F to H, 15th Street Place from F to H, 16th Street from F to H, 17th Street from where the cul-de-sac ends to H, 18th Street from F to H, 18th Street Place, and then F Avenue on that same neighborhood between 14th Street Place and 18th Street. So that entire development south of the high school.
You realize that neighborhood's been in place for going on 70 years.
Yeah.
1955, I think, was the first house built in that area. I think the houses got completed in about 1970 in that area. We've gone on now I've lived in that neighborhood for 44 years. Same house. Never had a complaint before. Well, why all of a sudden are we having a problem?
I'm gonna have you move to the podium if you want to say anything else. Just so we can have it all on.
Don Kokler, 705 14th Street Place. We, in that area, we're termed the new addition. We're the new addition in town. Scott, I don't want to take anything away from you, but we are the new addition in Nevada. Everyone knows that. Like I said, the first house was built in 1955, I think. Completed in 1970, about 1970. So we've been in business out there for 70 years. No one's ever complained. The neighbors get along. If you got a parking problem with your neighbor, you go talk to him. You don't go to the city council. You know, where did this problem come from? Come on, somebody answer. me. Where
Ray's
did
gonna
it
answer
come
once
from?
you're done. Once you.
I've actually had people in our neighborhood, because I live over there too. I've had people complain to me.
Go talk to them.
I did.
What'd they do?
They complained to me about not being able to get through the street and being very.
Do you know the reason why you can't get through the streets out there?
And being very concerned about the EMS and whatnot, being able to get through in an emergency.
Do you know why you can't get through those streets out there? Because when they did the reconstruction in that area, they narrowed those streets
They
by
narrowed
2
a
feet.
street, A street, one street. Just one.
You know the reason they narrowed those streets? Because the contractor they hired did not have the machinery to lay the street the same width that it was before, and they settled for a 2
How long
feet.
ago was this?
Pardon?
How long ago was this street?
20-some years ago.
Okay, so we're correcting something that.
We're going back to Echo.
20-some years ago. so
We're
I
going
mean,
back to Echo Construction. If anybody wants to think about Echo Construction, you'll know the reason why.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks.
Ray.
So leave us alone.
Ray's first. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the new addition is relying a lot on Lady Luck. We haven't had a house burned down there, so everything's good. But I can tell you, when we had a stove fire at F and 15th Street Place, we were delayed by about 2 minutes to have to drive a vehicle around the addition to get there. And I think that's unacceptable. If your house is on fire, you want a fire truck, you want lots of fire trucks to get there quickly. And that's probably what started all this. So if you want to blame somebody, the buck stops here.
Jane Hines, 1220 K Avenue. I would like to see with all of these proposed changes for parking, that you actually print out a map and make it so people can see what exactly it is you're planning to change. To read it on a little tiny piece of paper off your phone or whatever, it's very hard to figure it out. So it would be nice if you would do that for the public so that they can see who's going to be affected by all these changes.
I think we can ask our engineer to print something off for us.
Yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable.
Good idea.
I was gonna echo and say that's been the one thing I've had a lot of people reach out on is just trying to visualize it. I think that would be a good resource just to be able to visualize it. That seemed to be something I really had a lot of people ask about. So I think if we could do that as a resource, I think that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we don't have any printers large enough for that, but I believe WHKS can print something off and hopefully they can have it here by the next council meeting.
Well, and we can put something maybe online with a map. Outline.
Yeah.
size
Yeah,
of
like
the
a
street,
social media
something to do
graphic.
To put
Yeah.
on social media maybe.
And I think it's important to point out that we're not prohibiting parking on the entire street. We're just prohibiting it on one side of the street. Because as I pointed out before, your vehicle is roughly 6 feet wide. If two of them are parked next to each other, opposite each other, then that allows our fire engines 11 feet wide. And so we're talking inches driving through there. And as the director pointed out, we had a medical call this last week and our ambulance could not fit through there. So I think prohibiting parking on one side of the road still allows you to park on that road. Is it an inconvenience from what you've done for 20 years? Probably so, but there's still parking on the opposite side. I did get a call today. I talked to a lady today about parking there, and she was upset because now people were going to park in front of her house. That was the real issue. It wasn't that people could park across from her, but she didn't like the idea of people getting two spots in front of her house. We can't really dictate where people park their car, but I think it's important to remember that these are thoroughfares for transportation, not necessarily public parking intended, but There are ordinances related to parking that this is trying to address. So at the end of the day, nobody's trying to be vindictive. Nobody's trying to cause people grief. I understand if you've lived there a long time, it's change, and sometimes change isn't easy. But at the end of the day, our apparatus are not getting smaller. And I think our priority is to deliver quick care to people in need. So really, comes from a point of public safety, not trying to mess up the new addition for people. And that's really the angle of it.
Just my 2 cents. I think this is a good compromise. You know, I was hesitant on the last one where we just kind of reversed everything in the town. I think the chief and Ray have done a good job examining where this was needed. So it's a safety issue. It has to be addressed, like Jason says, like 20 some odd years, but we're here now, so.
One quick thing I had was I had an individual reach out with a question on looking at their street in addition on 9th Street and Place. I think that's one of the other main cul-de-sacs we kind of have in town. But if there are streets, I think we might want to look at some language to get out there. If individuals would like us to look at the parking in their neighborhood. I think this has kind of gotten several neighborhoods talking a little more and looking at their neighborhoods. So I didn't know if that's something maybe we could get some language out there on how that would go about, maybe bringing that forward or looking at getting those included.
Yeah, and the reason these were selected were because of the concerns for safety right now. I do think as these restrictions go into place, we may see areas that are outside that bubble that need to be addressed because, you know, when there's a sporting event, somebody's got to park somewhere. So to stay legally parked, that I think it's just expand out, but we don't know what that's going to look like until it starts. So.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Have we opened up lines of communication with the school on the large sporting events on how they can maybe tell people where to park or ask people where to park?
You know, I know in the past, I think it was a wrestling event, they made a map and put that out to the other schools that were coming of like where everything should park. And I'm assuming or hoping that was distributed fairly to everybody and nobody parked where the map said. So great plans. Sometimes don't always go the way they're planned, but I know that's something the school has addressed for previous sporting events.
Has that practice football field that's across the street from Gates been brought up as a potential for overflow to park on non-rainy?
I've never asked them about parking there. I know they do a lot of maintenance on it. You know, there would be a lot of work to put on there to go over the curb and to have everything lined up. So I haven't personally asked the school to do that.
I actually asked a school board member about that area, if there's ever been any discussion about using that. You're talking about the grass area across from Gates. And he said that has not been a serious consideration due to the amount that they use those fields for practice and such.
I know there's
But
an area on the south side that's not part of the field, kind of before the goalpost, that you could probably get quite a few cars in.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
And ultimately that turns into a private lot that I can't tell them what they have to do with.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I just want to focus on what I can.
A little buy-in since they kind of helped create the problem.
Thanks. Any other discussion?
Got more.
That was one of the three.
Oh goodness.
So, it's all under one line item on the agenda, but there's 3 ordinances. So the next one's the all night parking prohibited. The addition to that, the only recommended change that I'm making is off-street city park parking lots. So, the parking lots at Hattery, Mardine, Billy Sunday, and do they have the updated?
Yep.
And also Meadow Lane has like one stall that you can park in, not allowing overnight parking there. So all of our parks close and there's the curfew for minors, but also our parks close. So a vehicle being parked there would not facilitate the use of it. It's more use this off-street storage for other individuals that potentially would take away from the access of people who want to go to the parks. So right now we don't have anything in effect that would prevent that. So that's the reason for this one. In addition to that, we added the overnight parking at Score and Harrington Park would be authorized, but they'd have to go through the Parks and Rec director to get approval. So
This include the lot that's by the post office? I don't know what we call that lot.
no, that's a public lot. That's not a parks lot, parking lot.
Okay, so
Like a
that's
city
not
park.
included in this?
It is
The one by
not-
the post office?
It is not
included in this, all right.
Discussion on that one.
Okay, last one. This ordinance hasn't really been something that we've been actively enforcing. It was originally the truck and boat parking limited. I remember several years ago, this came up in conversation. And one of the things said the truck or truck trailer over 1 ton manufactured rate capacity couldn't be parked on a street. Well, a lot of 3/4 ton, 1 ton pickups would be not allowed to be parked on the street. So it's something we couldn't really effectively enforce and be fair for a person's everyday driver, not being able to be parked there. So I started to try to modify this and it really became more of a headache. So pulling through some other cities and what their codes and ordinances are and making that sure that apply to us, pretty much rewrote this for listing 3 different classifications that wouldn't be able to be parked unless they're dropping off, picking up. One's vehicles with a weight requiring the operator to possess a commercial driver's license. Some examples are listed on there, like school bus, semi, track, dump truck, boom truck, things like that. They would allow for them to be parked there for deliveries, unloading, loading, and also during a construction site. The next item was unattached trailers. So this kind of covers where we originally had the boat parking, but I wanted to clean up the verbiage a little bit, but also affect a complaint that I've been getting a lot about campers and enclosed trailers being left on the street. So we've responded to frequent calls for limited visibility at intersections because campers are sitting there and they park Sunday night, they're there till Friday at noon, and I can't see around it. Our existing code for the 48-hour notice said a motor vehicle, and a trailer, fifth wheel is not a motor vehicle, so there was no 48-hour notice on those. In addition to those, if they're not connected and sitting on like the tongue sitting down on like a brick, we've had street damage in the past with that weight for sitting for extended period of time. So an unattached trailer wouldn't be authorized, but if it was attached to your vehicle has to move every 48 hours. And then any oversized vehicles, again, for visibility's sake, and stealing from other communities, a vehicle that exceeds 10 feet in width or 30 feet in length. So your daily driver that everybody has wouldn't be affected with that, but large vehicles that are going to take up a portion of your whole city block, limit the visibility as you turn, wouldn't be authorized to be parked. And that's all I had.
That's all.
That was it.
Any other discussion? Questions? So please vote.
We don't have a motion.
I will, I'll move to approve ordinance number 1069.
No discussion, please vote. First reading has passed. Moving on to reports. Ryan, let's start with you.
I'm good unless you guys have any questions. Business as usual.
I'm good.
Tim?
Nothing additional, thank you.
Marlis? Ray, looks like you're coming up.
Just real quick. I wanted to point out something about Tim Hansen. When the Fieldhouse project came about, I was going to donate $500 for the project. I believe in it. I love what he's doing. And Tim said, you know, Ray, I got a way where you can give $200. And I thought, Well, geez, that's a great deal. He says, but you got to do it for 5 years. I'm no math major, and I realized that about year 4. But got twice the money out of me, but it's a great project. I will tell you, Tim is a man of character, and I've really taken a lot of lessons from him when we have our staff meetings and stuff like that. And he'll truly be missed, and just a great human being. And I certainly hope that we get his talents on park and rec boards and things like that. So, but he assures us he'll be gone for a while. So, but thank you, Tim, for all your years.
Much appreciated.
And then I would like to point out, the city of Albia right now is fighting a downtown fire in the Kramer building. It was built in 1856, 3 years later than our town was built. That building is currently lost. 3 businesses and 6 apartments, and 1 person's unaccounted for at this point. I know several of the chiefs that are working at fire. And I would just challenge you to track the economic impact of that fire downtown. And when that building will be repaired, if it's ever repaired, the implications of housing downtown, the implications of building and quality of life from that gap of that building burning down. It's quite a historic building, and it's tragic. And so when in context to our main street in Nevada, Emily and I have been on the phone today about this incident. This is a sure lesson about history repeating itself if we don't follow codes and standards. And I can tell you in our downtown, 6 of our apartments meet the current fire code with residential sprinklers. The 2 above the Camelot Theater are sprinkled, and then John Augustus building, the apartments that are sprinkled. So those are places I've lived. So thank you.
Devin?
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's his first meeting.
Make it good. Do a dance.
Hi, I'm Devin Cornish, and I'm the senior operator at the wastewater facility. Everything that's in my report is everything that's been going on. So if you have any questions, let me know.
That sounds about right.
There was no dancing. Thanks, Devin. Jordan.
Tim, I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you the last 5 years. I'm gonna miss you. So thank you for everything that you've done and how you've helped me grow in my position and helped every other staff member.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I had a meeting with SERPTA regarding our SS4A grant. Met with Dorsey and Whitney regarding some development agreements. Had an NEDC board meeting. Had a visit from IMWCA. It's our annual visit. They come and look at our workforce and how we're conducting business, and we had a really good review, and they're extremely happy over our safety meetings that we conduct on a monthly basis. That's kudos to the safety committee as well as Ray. They do a great job with that. Progress meetings on the Indian Creek wastewater, and also had a IMU board meeting. And then today we met with WHKS for the next steps of decommissioning our old wastewater treatment facility. So just some other things. I'll check with the insurance about the incident report, call Corey with Construct, and get feedback on that and get back to you guys on that. So I'd be happy to answer any additional questions that you have regarding this or anything else.
My favorite question I'd like to ask every council meeting. How close to the wastewater? Are we almost there?
I think we're pretty close. Yeah. Yeah. So I think Mike and I were talking today about substantial completions and getting those moving forward. So hopefully next council meeting we'll have something to present to the council regarding that. So it's been a long wait, and I can tell you I am more excited than probably anybody else. So we have meetings weekly regarding this, so it'll be nice to be completed with that.
And is it WHKS? That's our new engineer firm. I understand he's somewhat of a drunk. I see they might be joining us.
I have not heard that, so.
I'm kidding.
So HR Green is the wastewater.
Yeah.
Engineering and yeah.
Is there any update on the windmill?
The check for the, some of it is in the mail, and then he assured me, I talked to him, I think it was on Saturday, that he plans on having everything else removed by the end of this month, but with his MO, I think we'll say another month. So, yeah, cashier's
By the end
checking
of
letter
April.
sent to your attention today. That was on Friday. Thank you for your patience. We will have the nacelle and tower removed this month, and that was Friday. Yep.
Anything else, Jordan? Tim, everybody's already said great things about you. I hope you get your swearing problem under control. No, you've been great in my short time that I've been here. Helped me learn some stuff. I'm still learning stuff. I'm just coming back from camp with a bunch of Boy Scouts from last week, so my sanity's somewhat close to snapping, but I'm not quite there yet.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Much appreciated, everybody.
Anybody else?
Yeah, echo everyone else. Thanks, Tim. Your legacy is big, and you can just look around town and see your fingerprints all over it. So thank you. I had emailed Jordan about this. I had a constituent reach out to me last week, a couple weeks ago. There was a specific example of a building on Main Street in which was pretty clearly being used for storage. I know this is something we have discussed as a council in the past, and never got to the finish line. I have to suspect it's also a fire hazard, and Ray, if you've got anything to say, feel free to jump in, but I would love to see us get moving on something that addresses that issue. It's not the appearance that we want for our Main Street in our Main Street district, so.
I think we've spoken with Emily and Ray. I know that we've talked about it.
We talked about it last meeting.
Oh, I wasn't here, sorry.
Yeah, I can tell you we're dealing with it on the fire code side of it. Brian and I are lockstep together. We've been working with our city attorney on proper steps to address the fuel load fire hazard. So we're on top of it. In fact, Thursday we have our final compliance meeting.
I would just mention that the mayor and I had the coffee on Saturday at the field house because of Ren's situation being closed that day, so it worked well. Sue, Michael, Marilyn. And good discussion, a lot of different topics that we covered, and just what we hope for, just we would invite more people, but we'll get back on schedule in August, I understand. And I think it will be somebody besides Pete.
August 2nd, I believe it's Jason and Steve right now.
We had a Lincoln Highway Day committee meeting last Friday. Everything's moving forward with that. 3-day event now, and it's, you know, we keep adding stuff, so looking forward to what it becomes. Right after that, we had there was a meeting with what was that, Main Street Business Owners Promotions
Yeah.
Committee. Was invited in. I wasn't, you know, on my schedule to go to, was invited to go, so I went. Just to get some feedback from some of the downtown businesses for Pizza Palooza, so I don't wanna say anything because I don't think there's anything specific decided, so we'll just leave it at
Really
that.
call it.
Other than save the dates, May 8th and 9th.
Steve, you got anything?
Nope.
I guess I'm just gonna be echo a little bit too, but thank you, Tim. As someone who went through our Parks and Rec department, grew up in those opportunities, you gave a lot of people some amazing opportunities in this community. So thank you for that, and enjoy the well-earned retirement.
Thank you.
Can I get a do-over? Cause I didn't thank Tim. I definitely have really appreciated, he is the epitome of a leader on a staff, and you can see that throughout his work. And when you're in the room with all the people, you know, everybody looks to Tim. So somebody will still be looking for you, but we know it'll be in a different role, and best wishes for sure, Tim. Thanks so much.
Yeah, he was always one, like, whether he wanted to talk to me or not, he took the time to
Yes,
spend time and
absolutely.
explain things.
Well, since you guys do over Sandy, I get one too.
Okay.
The poles on the north side of Main Street, we approved those to be painted. Do we know when that's going to occur?
They're painting them today. They have,
Oh,
I know they had one done for sure, if not two, but, yeah, they're painting them today. So you should be able to drive down after this meeting and look at them. They look pretty good. I like them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else? And I get a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion,
Take one, I get him.
council, please vote.
Bye.
Aye.